Oof, the Yankees are really going through it right now. They cannot stop losing. And Anthony Volpe, he just lost his role as the leadoff hitter. Fernando Tatis Jr., he just made some history. It was announced that he just made the All-Star team as a starter. We'll talk about the history in a second. If the Dodgers have a birth certificate somewhere out there, it might say that Christian Walker of the Diamondbacks is their daddy. And because it's the 4th of July, you already know we have tons of home runs to recap. It's going to be a fun video. Don't forget, guys, if you're going to any baseball games or concerts anytime soon, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off. And if you have not downloaded Underdog Fantasy, today might be the day to do so, because if any of these guys go yard, they're giving away grills. If you want a free grill, all you have to do is use my code Fuzzy and you're entered. To begin today's recap, I wanted to show off the 2024 All-Star starters. You can see that the Phillies almost swept the infield in the NL, and the Padres almost swept the outfield. You have Bohm at third base. Trey somehow beat Mookie Betts despite the fact that he's played like 30, 40 less games. Then you have Harper at first base. And the outfield, Jackson Merrill could have made it 3 for 3, but it's Profar, Yelly, and Tatis. By the way, Tatis just became the first player ever to start an All-Star game at shortstop and in the outfield. That's never been done before. For the American League, Cleveland, they kind of own the left side with J-Ram at third base. Quan, he makes his first All-Star team and he's starting. Vladdy, he's made 4 All-Star teams now. He just turned 25 years old. So let me know in the comments, what do you make of these starters? Do you think that anyone got snubbed, like a Jarren Duran, a Josh Naylor, maybe an Elliot Ramos or a Teoscar Hernandez? Who's the biggest snub? Now, because it's the 4th of July, I'm just going to skip to the fireworks in this first game. The Pirates, they went up 3-1 in the 7th versus St. Louis. Rowdy Tellez, he is strong, like strong squared. He's one of the handful of guys that could manage to muscle that baseball out that way. The Cardinals, they answered back with the fireworks show of their own. Wilson Contreras, he tied it with a moonshot, 422 feet. It's now 3-3. This game needed some free baseball. We head to the 10th where the Pirates, they're down by 1 after St. Louis lifted a sac fly. But Brian Reynolds, he clutched up big time. He singles to score Jared Triolo, and this will walk it off. O'Neal Cruz, he wins it. His teammates, they're mobbing him. The fireworks are going off in the background. Kind of made me think of the Sandlot fireworks scene. That's one of my favorite scenes in movie history. I love that scene. So like we talked about in the intro, a pitcher for the A's made some history, but again, because it's July 4th, I want to show some fireworks. We had 6 home runs in this game alone. Christian Mena, he was making his MLB debut for the Diamondbacks, and his whole family was in attendance. Freddie, come on, man. We get it. You're very, very good, but how dare you embarrass this kid in front of his kin? You too, Teoscar. I know you're upset that you're not starting the All-Star game, but like, do we really have to go back-to-back off a 21-year-old kid making his MLB debut in front of his family? At least he will not be getting the L. Arizona went crazy after that. Gabriel Moreno, he cranked one out the other way for a 2-run Oppo Taco, and the guy who owns Dodger Stadium, he did it again. By the way, I was wrong yesterday when I was talking about Christian Walker's stats in LA. I'll correct them in a second, because Lourdes, he got in on one as well. No BS. I honestly thought that Lourdes was about to go Giancarlo Stanton and leave the ballpark. Just an absolute moonshot. There he is. Christian Walker again in Dodger Stadium. He's now hitting .333 with 17 home runs in 49 games. He is quite literally Aaron Judge when he plays in Dodger Stadium. By the way, the Dodgers drafted him in 2009 in the 49th round, so they even saw the potential. That 3-run home run gives him 20 home runs on the season. He has been one of the best late bloomers I've seen in quite some time. Him, Marcus Semien. The Diamondbacks, they're 42-44, but they're only 2.5 games back of a wild card spot. Texas fans, you might hate me, but again, it's the 4th of July. You did not hit any home runs. Manny Machado and the Padres did, though. That is a 3-run missile off the bat of Manny, who's now hitting .318 with 6 home runs and 24 RBIs over his last 40 games. Now, the Rangers did momentarily steal the lead. They make it 4-2, but some RBI singles off the bat of Jackson Merrill and Luis Arraez. They tied at 4. Merrill's barely stayed fair, was basically a swinging bunt, and Ha-Seong Kim, after he got hit by a pitch, his legs took over. He stole second base. He tried for third, but Arraez, he smoked it the other way. And the freight train delivered. David Peralta, his 2-run home run wins it down in Arlington. Is it in Arlington? I'll just say Texas. You have Robert Suarez striking out 2 more hitters for his 21st save. He's been so much better than Josh Hader. He has a 1.05 ERA, and the Padres, they're 15-9 since June 7th. That's pretty impressive. Speaking of impressive, something happened for the first time in like 19 years, but not before the Angels defense imploded and gave up the early lead. There was a botched inning-ending double play as Davis Daniel. I think his brain just kind of got scrambled because he saw the second baseman covering, then Neto trying to cover. He just threw it to no one. Moments later, the A's were handed another free run on a rundown. Brett Harris, he took off for second base, then he stopped. Lawrence Butler, he came in to score. We have more fireworks. Max Schumann and Brent Rooker, they both hit some sliders out. Rooker's up to 17 home runs. I wonder if he's going to get traded. That does it for all the offense in this one, and now it's time for the history. Rookie Joey Estes, he tossed a Maddox. A Maddox is a complete game shutout in under 100 pitches. By the way, Greg Maddux, he did that 13 times over his career. That's why they call it a Maddox. Geloff, he helped out in the ninth. He snagged a liner. Estes, he popped up Guillorme, and down goes Taylor Ward. The broadcaster went crazy. He goes, "Oh, you're the Angels? Well, I'm your devil tonight." That was an instant classic for me. That was the lowest pitches in a game by an A's pitcher since 2005. I was 9 years old. So we talked about the NL All-Star starters earlier, and we saw Yelich make another All-Star team. I think that's his third All-Star appearance. So we're going to show him hitting a baseball very, and I mean very far. Dodgers fans will say that Teoscar got robbed, but Yelich, I mean, he went 450 feet. He's got 9 home runs, 19 stolen bases, a 160 OPS plus, a higher WAR than Teoscar. Also, he's hitting 333, so it's not like Yelich didn't deserve it. Just because you hit a lot of home runs doesn't mean that you should be an All-Star, just like Anthony Santander. The Brewers, they went up by 2 on a Jake Bauers RBI single, and then skipping to the 5th, Adames, he did not like this pitch, even though it was a strike. To the umpire's credit, it was a clear strike. Willie, just like Jose Altuve, they've only been ejected twice in their careers, but he was heated. Garrett Mitchell, he's back in the lineup. He's handed a free RBI on a bases-loaded walk, and that's kind of it for either team. As Colin Ray, he looks like a brand new man this year. He came into 2024 with a near 5 ERA over his first 280 innings. He went 7 shutout with 4 strikeouts in Coors Field, which is not easy. He now has a 3.3 ERA this season. I got to tip my cap to him. He has been vital to the Brewers, being at 52 wins. He threw 67 of 90 pitches for strikes. Jacob Junis, he slammed the door in the 9th inning. McGill, he wasn't available, but Junis struck out 2 anyways. Milwaukee now owns 5 shutouts this year already. They're 7 games ahead for first place after the Cardinals got walked off by the Pirates. Yankees fans were in the mood for some fireworks as well, but the Reds put a hose on them before they could even light them. The Yankees fan base is going through right now, but at least Soto made a cool catch. That's fun. Now Reds fans are having fun. MLB Marte returned from his suspension last week. He tattooed a 2-run tater to left field, and later in the game, he's going to clutch up with the leather, just like Alex Verdugo. So after MLB Marte went yard, Verdugo made a great grab in foul territory. The Yankees outfielders are showing out on defense. Now Ellie, he nearly botched it on defense, but thankfully he has a rocket arm and JD Davis isn't that fast. Andrew Abbott, he's now out the jam. He's through 3 scoreless. The other lefty, Carlos Rodon, he's been bad since May 2nd. He has a 5.5 ERA. He's allowed 15 home runs in 12 starts. That will not cut it. Like maybe he's just not built for Yankee Stadium. Maybe he's a fly-ball pitcher. He should be back with the Giants. Andrew Abbott, on the other hand, he went 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. He went 6 shutout. Now, he did allow a base runner before Volpe did some damage. Fernando Cruz is nasty, but he kind of struggles to strand guys from what I've seen. Volpe got the blood flowing because he's been painfully bad for the last month. That is a 2-run double to the gap. And check this out. The captain, he's up with 2 on. He smoked it right to MLB Marte at third base. Cruz, he's fired up. That one seals it as Alexis Diaz. He now has 19 saves. That gives them a series W. And if my math is right and I looked at the schedule correctly, the Yankees have now dropped 6 series in a row. And before we move on to talk about Anthony Volpe and the change that the Yankees are making, look at this play from MLB Marte. He had to cover some serious ground, and he makes the play. Now, if we go back to the 9th inning of that last game, Anthony Volpe bounced into a soul-crushing double play, and the Yankees have officially responded. He's been taken out of the leadoff spot. He's down to the 6th hole. That's because since May 17th, so well over a month, over 43 games, he has 0 home runs, a terrible 271 on base, and 7 walks over 43 games. Really, that is just never going to cut it for a leadoff guy. Honestly, if he was not playing platinum defense, he probably gets sent down. He's going to have to go find that restaurant, reorder chicken parmesan, and find his swing again because he's been bad. Ryan O'Hearn might be the most underrated slugger in all of baseball. I'm going to say that right now. Like, yeah, he's mainly a platoon bat and he doesn't face lefties a ton, but you know what? The dude flat out rakes. That is a 2-run double, and I have no idea how J-Rod even got there, but he just missed the catch. Ryan Mountcastle scores O'Hearn later in the third, so it's 3-0 for Dean Kremer, and Dean was mean. He struck out 2 in a row in the third. He can run it up to 95, 96 miles an hour, make it 7 punch-outs through 4 scoreless. He gets Raleigh and Polanco to chase. Dean's got some nasty stuff, but he has arm slot issues sometimes. If he can be consistent with that arm slot, he's going to be nasty for a long time. Ryan O'Hearn, there it goes. He's got 11 home runs and a 143 OPS plus. Kremer, he finished off his night with a strikeout, so 8 strikeouts, just 2 base hits. I think this was his first start off the IL. Dean's out, and so is just baseball. Cal Raleigh, that's it for Seattle. I wanted to show it because there was really nothing more. He wanted more, though, but Santander said, no, you guys will not pass go. I will be sliding to make this grab. He covered a ton of ground, and now it's time for some history. Craig, he's officially 4th all-time on the saves leaderboard. He passes K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez. He's been wildly effective, but over his first 9 seasons, Craig Kimbrell, he was untouchable. Again, over his first 9 seasons, he had a 1.9 ERA, 333 saves, and a 14.7 strikeouts per 9. Like, I don't know if Craig Kimbrell is already Hall of Fame worthy. Maybe he has to get to 500 because he's been a little bit shaky over the last few years. Do you think that he's a Hall of Famer? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, after this W, Baltimore, they're now 2 games up on the Yankees for first place in the AL East, while the Mariners, they've lost 4 in a row. Even the Red Sox are closing in on the Yankees, which is wild to say out loud. Rafi, he tied it on that's a single, right? Xavier Edwards just kind of fell over. He lost his footing. They did give Devers an RBI single. More interesting defense from the Marlins. It's now 2-1. Trevor Rogers, he couldn't barehand it. Now we head to the 6th. Josh Bell, he put a charge into this pitch, but look at Jarren Duran glide. He covered 109 feet to make the catch with his elite sprinter speed. By the way, on the bump, Brian Bayo, he struck out 7 over 6 1/3. His first really good start in quite some time. Devers and Cedon Rafaela, they made sure that Bayo was not going to come close to losing this game. Boston erupted for a huge 4-run 9th inning. Devers tripled, in scores Tyler O'Neill, and the rookie Cedon, he stayed hot with a base-clearing double to left field. The Red Sox are 13-5 since June 12th, and again, I know it's the Marlins, but because they've won 3 games in a row and the Yankees have lost a lot lately, Boston is now 6.5 games back of the Yankees, and they used to be like 12 to 15 games back. Another Sox team won big last night, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I shut this game off after the 4th inning to preserve my mental health. Listen, I'm on the path to positivity, okay? The White Sox, they welcomed back Gavin Williams by scoring 5 off of him. Andrew Vaughn, he had an RBI single in the first, and Chicago, they teed off for 4 runs in the 4th inning. Nicky Lopez and the White Sox owned left field in this game. He doubles to left, that's an RBI. Sosa said, I'm not stopping. He ran through the stop sign. Good thing that he did. Martin Maldonado got an RBI, and if he can do that, I mean, anything is possible. Benny Biceps, he went to left field as well. Again, they're just owning left field against Gavin Williams. That's a very nice approach if I'm being honest with you guys. Eric Fetty was fantastic on the bump. He used that big lead to go 6 innings with 1 run, but I got to skip to this moment right here. What in the world did I just witness? A multi-hit performance by Martin Maldonado, capped off with a 2-run home run off of Tim Herron, who has been disgusting this year. I'm happy I wasn't watching live because I might have fell to my knees and shed a tear. Okay, now we can show Eric Fetty because the KBO really did fix this guy. Another quality start under his belt. The Guardians are now 4-5 against the White Sox this year. Get this game out of my face. Great, now I gotta watch the Kansas City Royals win again. Yo, this recap straight up sucks. Can I go take a nap now? I mean, not even Isaac Paredes and his home run could save the Rays, and it just seemed like that made Michael Wacha angry. He strikes out Brandon Lau, and check out this swing from Randy. It's not very often a big league hitter is fooled that much. You have 5 strikeouts through 3 innings from Michael Wacha. Bobby, this is going to tie it. Kyle Isbell, he's waved around. It's 1-1. Bobby is so good. Vinny Pasquantino, by the way, he leads baseball in RBIs at home. That is RBI number 43 in Kansas City. So 43 of his 56 RBIs have been at home, which is just nuts. Michael Wacha, there's another one, and I mean, Wacha is just disgusting. He had 8 strikeouts over 6 innings, just a 1 run and 2 base hits. Salvi opened up the game a little bit more as the core of Kansas City's lineup did all of the damage. So it's 4-1 Royals. Wait, hold on. Tampa, they got 1 in the 8th, so it's 4-2. Did Taylor Walls just save my life? Kyle Isbell with his 5 outs above average, so it's not like this was a fluke or anything. He can go get it with the best of them. He saves the game with reckless abandon. He snow cones it, and yeah, that'll do it. James McArthur now has 15 saves. The Royals are 8 games over 500. They could use a Minnesota L here because I think they're in a race for the Twins as opposed to the Guardians. Maybe it stays that way for the rest of the year. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But the Tigers, they said, we got you guys. I should have probably showed this game earlier because we had 5 home runs in this one. Carson Kelly, that is is a grand slam. He has looked like Diamondbacks, kind of vintage Carson Kelly the last week or two. That ball was at his eyelashes, and he just tomahawked it out. David Festa, he got lit up again. Winsell Perez made it back-to-back home runs for the Tigers, so 2 of 5 home runs covered. Here's number 3. Christian Vasquez pummeled a long 415-foot solo home run. He's flexing in the dugout. They have not got away from that Prince celebration stuff. I like that. It's cool. Here's another cool moment. Brooks Lee, he secured his first big league night. His swing is like a combination of Matt Stairs, who owns the MLB record for most pinch hit home runs, and Ken Griffey Jr. He starts off as Matt Stairs, ends like Ken Griffey Jr. Back to the Tigers. Colt Keith, he legged out a triple, so he's very tired. And what a nice guy Riley Green is. He knew his buddy was winded, so he said, "You can walk home. I got you. Take your time." Riley, he's only 23 years old. That's his 16th home run. 430 feet, by the way, at 112 miles an hour. And hey, Brooks Lee, I know his team got destroyed, but that's RBI number 1. So his first hit, his first RBI, and first multi-hit game all came in game number 1 of his career. The Tigers, they just kept on answering back as Matt Vierling. He socked a laser beam for a 2-run home run. That's his 11th. The Tigers, they have a ton of movable pieces, and they have some younger pieces that they could build towards the future. So are they going to trade some veteran guys like Matt Vierling, Mark Canha? Who's getting moved? The Astros basically hit the copy-paste button. They also won 9-2. Yordan and Yainer Diaz both had monster days. You had Yordan with an RBI double, and then the second base hit that he had before the 6th was a heat-seeking second deck home run. He deserves the bat flip on that one. He has 7 home runs in his last 10 games in Toronto. Now, the Jays and Varsho tied it momentarily, but Jose Altuve and the Astros, they started teeing off again. That's an RBI single. Yainer Diaz single, then 2 more. The kid will not stop producing. His first of 3 RBIs on the night. Skipping to the 8th, Yordan, he also had a 3 RBI night. He secures it right there, and then Yainer, he jolts one back up the gut. Yainer, by the way, has 44 RBIs. He's been kind of bad at framing and throwing guys out defensively, so he's kind of the opposite of Martin Maldonado. The Astros, they do pick up a W, and they pick up a game on the Mariners. They're just 2 games back of first place. Here we go. So this next game is pretty easy to recap. Duvall and Riley basically won it with 2 swings. I hate to spoil it, but Duvall, that's an RBI 2-bagger in the 2nd inning, and before we show Austin Riley's base hit, Chris Sale, he was pumping strikes left and right and striking guys out. I mean, he was so good. He doesn't throw 100 anymore, but he can paint 94, 95, and he can break out that slider from hell. He strikes out the side in that inning. Here's Austin Riley. He puts his team up by 3. Elliot Ramos, he then goes down looking. I love Elliot Ramos, but that's just a nasty pitch right there. Sale, he's 1 out away from going 6 scoreless, and he's trying to reach deep in his bag, but Matt Chapman, he broke the shutout. And what is going on? Chapman, he doubles for 1 run. Now he gets to third base, and that was on one of the wilder pitches I've seen all year. The crowd went silent. It was basically pins and needles, but Sale, he eventually got it done. 9 strikeouts over 6 innings. Rizal, his 21st save, gives Chris Sale his 11th W, so he leads the National League with wins. Also, he leads with a 2.2 FIP. Those are really good numbers if you want to try and win a Cy Young. So it's safe to say that Chris Sale and the Braves, they're winning the trade because, remember, they inked him for 2 more years, and Boston is paying a lot of that salary. This was the definition of an Uno reverse game. Check this out. The Mets, they took a commanding 5-0 lead. Every single run that they scored was via the home run ball. Tyrone Taylor, he has 3 home runs over the last week and a half, and Mark Vientos, he did it again, 435 feet. The thing about Mark Vientos, it's not just that he hits home runs, but he deletes them. He's tops in barrel rates. His bat speeds and exit velocities are looking really impressive. Lindor, I swear, if they boo this man ever again, he's gonna go through rough stretches. It happens. As a Guardians fan, I can promise you, he's a slow starter. He's at 15 home runs, 15 stolen bases, 8 outs above average. Stop booing the guy. Okay, sorry. But here's where the Nationals put down their reverse card. Luis Garcia Jr., goodbye. That is a loud 3-run home run, and they even clutched up on the defensive side of things. Jacob Young used his elite speed to rob the Mets of a base hit. He has 12 outs above average. It kept the momentum going. CJ, he took a walk in the 7th. Lane Thomas, that's a barrel. We know that CJ Abrams can absolutely motor, so he ties it at 5. Rookie James Wood, he has a chance, and let's go. His first career RBI put his team up in front, out in front. English is hard. By the way, I can't show it, but after that, he stole his first ever big league bag. And again, I don't have time to show it because Luis Garcia Jr. made it back-to-back at-bats with a home run. He's got 9 home runs, 11 stolen bases. Cal Finnegan, he has 23 saves after going 1-2-3 in the final inning. The Nationals went off for 7 unanswered runs, and the future is coming. Washington, they're building something pretty cool. So we just saw an Uno reverse game, and this was kind of a deja vu game. So if the Cubs have an RBI double, the Phillies, they're going to immediately hit a home run. Watch. There's Pete Crow Armstrong ripping an RBI double to bring in Ian Happ, so the Cubs go up a run. And Rafael Marchand of the Phillies, he connected for a long solo home run. He's got 3 home runs and a 135 OPS plus in 12 games, replacing JT Realmuto. Good for him. See what I'm talking about? PCA with the deja vu RBI double. Yet again, he scores Ian Happ. You're not seeing the same clip twice. And the Phillies, are they going to do it again? Well, Alec Boehm, he's your NL All-Star starter at third base, right? He got bailed big time because Michael Busch, he couldn't make the play in foul territory. I hope that he's all right, by the way. Boehm, there it is. He turns on a pitch, his 11th home run. He has 70 RBIs on the dot. And there goes the lead and Zach Wheeler's chance at a W. Matt Strahm, he was not sharp again. Belly ties it at 3-3. But that's when the Phillies started spraying balls to center field. Pete Armstrong, he's very good, but he could not get to that Trey Turner base hit. And boom, he went up the middle as well. There was a pass ball. The runners get to second and third. So this Johan Rojas sac fly is going to win it. Pete Armstrong has a cannon, but it kind of sliced on him. That wide throw plus Trey's speed put the Phillies up by 1. Merrifield makes it a 2-run lead. And then here it is. Jose Alvarado, he got Michael Busch to chase. The Phillies have won 7 in a row versus the Cubs. Well, everyone, that does it for today's recap. A awesome 4th of July recap. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be safe out there and enjoy the web gems.
Iglesias, his line softly towards center, racing in is Young on the go into a slide.
Ground ball, diving stop, Mendick in the outfield grass. He'll throw for
pitch hammered there. Hill on the run, diving, extending out.
Crawford slices one the other way, and Austin Hayes comes.
Collins out toward right center field. Rojas is on the run, makes the grab. Rengifo lines it the other way, but
Moore golfs the ball down the line and right. Could be trouble, and it's not.